Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Scott Congdon,
Here.
Irene Boyle.
Here.
Robert Burnett is absent with advance notice. Bob Feather.
Here.
Tina Hollenbach.
Here.
Mike Morris. Absent. Stephen Peritano.
Here.
Ron Rudy.
Here.
And Marty Sullivan. We have a quorum to proceed.
Thank you. I'd ask everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Prior to the meeting this evening, we had an executive session and we discussed matters of personnel. Any announcements?
No announcements, Mr. Congdon.
Thank you. And at this time, is there anybody signed up for public comment?
Yes. Mr. Steve Rodos.
Okay. You want to wait till the end? Okay. Look. Yeah, we are on a roll. We are. All right. 1.07, no public comment. We're going to move to Section 2, Personnel Administrative. Mr. Parentano, please.
Thank you, Mr. Congdon. Be it resolved that the Neshaminy School Board of Directors hereby approves Dr. Amy Orlando as principal of Schweitzer Elementary, effective September 20th, 2017, or earlier, pending release from her current position at a salary of $128,500.
Thank you for that motion. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Mr. Sullivan with a second. Any questions, comments, or concern? Be it there none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're going to move to roll call, please.
Scott Congdon.
Yes.
Irene Boyle.
Yes.
Bob Feather.
No.
Tina Hollenbach. Yes. Steve Peritano.
Yes.
And Marty Sullivan.
Yes.
I'm yes, though.
Mr. Rudy.
Mr. Rudy.
Yes.
Six ayes and one nay.
Thank you. Motion passes. At this time, we're going to move to our closing of the meeting. We're going to move to our second portion of public comment. Please approach the podium, state your name, area you reside, your profession. Please no personal attacks. We limit it to 3 minutes. Mr. Rodas.
Good evening. Steve Rodas. I live in the Villages of Flowers Mill, and I have a few things I'd like to get clarified if possible. First, though, I would like to congratulate Dr. Orlando on her appointment as principal. I'm sure that she will have the support of all the teachers in the school and the parents as well. I have a couple of questions, though. Number one, were the 6 new teachers for the elementary schools selected as yet? And number two, I'd like to know what's going on with the busing survey. I have not seen it anywhere. Number three, there was no mention of the Neshaminy School District by the Courier when they reported on STEM scores. I didn't even know there was such a category as STEM scores. So I'm going to assume that for reasons known only to the Courier, but also maybe to you, I'd like to know what happened with our STEM scores. Now, one last question. Has anything progressed on the charter school? Since it has, at one of the last meetings, you had to approve it, so I just want to know if that's moving along, if there are people signing up for it, it's going to impact on our budget. Finally, if you have free time and can figure out the TV schedule, I urge you to watch the Council Rock School Board debate on closing 2 of their elementary schools. We're not closing two of our elementary schools. And we're keeping the status quo and calling it something else. It's very reminiscent of what we went through here a few years ago. But perhaps it's only funny to me because as a parent, I wanted one of those schools closed 40 years ago when my children were at Rolling Hills. So, things go around. Whatever goes around comes around. You can always have a good time watching people debate things on community TVs. Thank you.
I'm just waiting to see if anybody else was going to approach the podium. Doesn't look like it. I'm just going to stop the timer here. In terms of the charter school, that's handled through them. We're not going to have any records of that, and Joe can elaborate a little bit further with that.
So, Mr. Rodas, you're welcome for the extra session that you had in July here, surprise session that you had time at the podium. To answer your questions, we've hired 3 of the 6 additional teachers. That was done back in June. The additional other slots, we're waiting to see what enrollment looks like. But 3 are already in play. Transportation survey will be out to the board. The anticipation is that August there'll be a special meeting for the board to review that in executive session, but discussion will take place while business operation committee meetings, both in August and in September, and so it'll be part of one or both of those meetings. The STEM school is a survey that got front page attention in the Carrier. I think there might be a Carrier individual in the audience here, but he did not write it. His name wasn't associated with it. And that article was based off of a niche, NICHE.com survey. 65% of the data that went into determining the status of schools ranking was based off of people who use that site and choose to leave a comment. So none of that's explained in the newspaper article. The balance of that comes from a civil rights federal survey data collection that is, I think, 2 or 3 years old in terms of lag time. So nothing there is really reflective truly of what's happening in any of the schools, whether they were on the list or not on the list. And I think you've heard at some of our meetings here from some parents who are really impressed and proud of the STEM opportunities that kids have here at Neshaminy, and we know that we've continued over the course of the last few years to add to that program effectively. So we're excited about our STEM work here, and that was a shame that got front page recognition because there really wasn't much to the study at all. And then charter schools, we have not had any active engagement with the charter school at this point in terms of any connection in terms of their plans. They're still looking. They don't have a site set. I know that. So I can't imagine anything's going to impact us for this upcoming year. I'd be surprised. But we'll see.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. We're going to move on to board comment. Does anybody on the board have any comments?
I just want to welcome Dr. Orlando to Neshaminy. I'm glad to have you aboard and wish you all the luck in your new position. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. Thank you, Steve. With that being said, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Can I get a second, please? Second. Mr. Parentano, thank you for the second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone, and good night.